doesn't matter if you're at MPE or if you're sitting at home or you're at the office. With MPE Live, our goal is to make sure that you are informed. You could be here, of course, with us, but if you're not, what we're going to do is we're going to have as many interviews as possible to give you great insights into what's happening within the industry. From merchants, acquirers, issuers, to payments providers all across the European landscape. What we'll try to do is to get you the best insights possible. My name is Dwayne Gefferie, and I'm the host of MPE Live TV. Well, thank you very much at MPE Live TV. As you can see, it's another busy day, buzzing here as well. And maybe to start off, Dan, what's the strategic conversation that you've seen is currently dominating here at MPE 2026?
Yeah, sure. So I think one of the big questions is modernizing acceptance. The pace of change that we're seeing in commerce is like never before. And one of the big questions is really, can the technology keep up with that pace of the business that it's supporting? And so a lot of the conversations with acquirers are like, how do they continue to keep up to speed with all the requirements and all the expectations of customers, whilst also managing like legacy platforms, adding new payment methods, managing fraud and compliance, all whilst trying to be fast and not break the stuff that's already working today.
Yeah, fantastic. So this is MPE, of course, so it's very merchant driven. I think what you're doing, especially working on acceptance from a Visa perspective, you deal with both sides, right? Merchants who are trying to figure out what's a great gateway that, again, indeed, in this orchestrated, multi-acquirer, multi-APM setup world. And on the other side, you have the acquirers. What do you think is the biggest difference that you currently see between the way that merchants are approaching payments, optimization, everything around that, versus acquirers?
So I think some of the key differences between like what merchants are focusing on and what acquirers are focusing on. If you think about a merchant, they're really interested in making sure they're removing friction to never miss a sale, and to make that process really, really smooth. And they need to do that across multiple channels, because we all know as consumers, our expectations are like, we want seamless, invisible payments. We never want to have any friction in there anymore. And so, you know, that's really, I guess, the main focus for merchants. Acquirers are having to then deal with, like, how do I make that simple for merchants? And they're the ones that are dealing with a lot of the complexity. So whether that's the compliance, managing regulatory shifts, whether it's ensuring that they are enabling the right payment methods that a merchant would want. So I think, you know, there's some commonalities there around like making sure that, you know, success rates are processed all the way through. But at the end of the day, I think, you know, the key difference there is the merchants there, they want to sell the goods and services that they're focused on, and they want the acquirers to really make sure that they're handling all that complexity in the back end.
Absolutely, fantastic. So indeed, seamless on one side, and of course, integrating all of those different payment methods, all of those different processes, absolutely. What is one thing that now, 2026 and beyond, is not optional anymore in payments?
I think based on the conversations that we've been having, you know, this week, but also more broadly, it has to be partnerships. The time for going it alone and thinking that control is a priority, I think that's over. Partnerships are going to be key for anybody that wants to win in payments. The pace of change is just so fast at the moment, and if you want to keep up, you have to go with partners. So I think it's not an option, and it's all about like, who are the right partners? Figure out and focus on what you want to be great at. Select the right partners to get you there.
Fantastic. Maybe a last one. This conference for me is all about transformation. Are you doing the transforming, or are you being transformed? And I think especially the number one topic that keeps on coming up is agentic. Visa's been working on its own protocols to make sure that, especially that trusted protocol is in there. what are you telling the customers, the merchants that you're talking about, with about agentic at the moment? What's the one key giveaway that you're giving to them?
Yeah. So I think for us, we don't think there's going to be a one size fits all for merchants. I think merchants, with our help and others' guidance, need to determine what their agentic strategy is. What we're doing with the Visa Acceptance Platform is making sure that we're ready for those different options. So whether it being a merchant that wants to put their catalog onto a ChatGPT or a Gemini, or whether it's a merchant that wants to actually invest in building their own agent, or it could be a merchant that just wants to have selective agents. Like, all those options we think are going to play out, and there's probably more. So we're building the platform, and we're agentic ready for those use cases, and we're starting to pilot now.
Fantastic. Again, I want to thank you very much for joining us here at MPE Live 2026, and hope to speak to you soon.